This Read 180 topic is made possible by a grant from
Kellogg's Rice Krispies. Celebrating the joy of kids growing through interaction.
And by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and the annual financial support of viewers like you.
This new topic is a reminder of how some people are capable of adapting to tough, extreme environments. Our cool VJ, Zabrena, put the videos together. Since her parents are in the Army and she grew up all over the world, she's going to take us on the road to places where people are struggling to survive.
Hi, I'm Zabrena. That's right, my family's lived all over, but we never had to fight the elements, like freezing snow, for example. Good thing, too, because one member of our family is a big weenie about snow. These are his snow boots. They're for my dog, Jet. Let's go to Alaska. Mush!
Braving Alaska.
Imagine dressing for temperatures that can reach 80 degrees below zero, trying to stay warm without electricity, or traveling a day to visit the nearest person. Meet the Korth family, among the most isolated people in North America. They live in the Alaskan wilderness, where their only neighbors are four-legged, and survival is a daily challenge. In winter, the bad news is there are only 2 hours of light each day. But the good news? Who needs a refrigerator? And food is a daily adventure. Instead of carving food, they saw it. They gather wild berries and cranberries, hunt deer, and set beaver traps, and eat stuff like moose quiche. But at least there aren't schools, right? Right. But there are teachers. One is flown in every few months along with the mail, and major amounts of homework. And since the commute is so long, the teacher has to sleep over. Fighting the elements makes life tough, but here's the really tough part. No television. So why do the Korths struggle to live here? How about this? And this? And this? Sure, it's cold out there, but the peace and quiet and beauty are cool. Really cool. You're about to see a video about a time when a big portion of our country was struggling. That's a fact. But the video also mentions some fiction. A novel about a 14-year-old girl who writes poems about living through this time period. What period is that? Let's watch.
Out of the dust.
At the beginning of the 20th century, the southern plains were an endless sea of corn, oats, and wheat fields. But the rain stopped, and the winds picked up. By the summer of 1933, dust storms made it hard to breathe and impossible to farm. Local economies were ruined, lives were threatened, and the land was destroyed. Hundreds of thousands of people packed up and moved west, but others stayed behind. In her Newbery Award-winning novel, Out of the Dust, author Karen Hess imagines growing up in the Oklahoma Dust Bowl. Through a series of poems, a young girl tells her own story of life after the tragic death of her mother and what it means to live each day with the bitter taste of dust in your mouth. Here is one of her poems.
Tested by dust. While we sat taking our 6 weeks test, the wind rose and the sand blew right through the cracks in the schoolhouse wall, right through the gaps around the window glass. And by the time the tests were done, each and every one of us was coughing pretty good, and we all needed a bath. I hope we get bonus points for testing in a dust storm. April 1934. Have you ever lived through a drought? Ever had to ration water? Imagine what it would be like to spend every day of your life waiting for the clouds to come, in search of rain.
In search of rain.
It's 120 degrees in the hot desert sun, and it hasn't rained in months. These people have to walk 6 miles to find the nearest water and grass for their cattle. This is the life of the Wodaabe, a nomadic people who wander the sands of West Africa, struggling to survive and trying to keep their ancient culture alive. The dry season here lasts 10 months. During that time, the Wodaabe move among wells dug centuries ago by their ancestors. But the wells don't contain enough water to last a whole year. So when the brief rainy season begins, the Wodaabe leave their homeland and follow the clouds. At the end of each rainy season, they celebrate. Tonight, they add meat to their usual diet of milk and millet, and sip sweet tea. And the men perform a dance to attract future wives. This ceremony is a celebration of not only surviving another year of desert life, but also of the survival of the unique culture that is the Wodaabe way. So we've seen people who live in tough conditions for different reasons, by choosing to live in the wilderness, or because the tough weather conditions chose them, or simply because it's their ancient way of life. But here are some people who live in extreme conditions because it's their job.
Take a dive.
Today, the USS Michigan will leave port for a secret mission. They'll be gone almost 3 months, which doesn't sound bad except...
Last man down, hatch secured, bridge rigged for diving.
Submerge the ship.
Dive.
These guys will be underwater the whole time, crammed into a submarine. Imagine 165 men on board a sub that's less than 2 football fields long.
We're giving up all the things that people take for granted. The sunshine, the basics, fresh air, salads, milk, being able to hug your kids every night. We volunteer to do it, but it doesn't make it easy.
Life without salad might not be so bad, but these men have no phone calls home, no letters, no TV, nothing. Usually, their only contact with the world is studying underwater sounds. Plus, during some military exercises, all men not on duty have to stay in their bunks. The sub provides all its own energy, so most living space is taken up by machinery. These machines extract deadly carbon dioxide from the sub's air. Oxygen and water are taken in from the ocean. During all this time, the only way guys know night from day is by their meals. If it's pizza, this must be Saturday night. Finally, after 84 days at sea, the USS Michigan surfaces.
This is the captain speaking. It's time to go home.
After months of not breathing fresh air, feeling a raindrop, or hugging your family, you bet it is.
You didn't just survive this topic, you nailed it, and you're done.